Most people are here because they're very acutely aware already of the crisis of civilization that we face. But I want to read a breathtaking statistic that I think really exemplifies everything that's wrong with the world we live in today. According to the latest Oxfam study, 62 people now own more wealth than half of everybody living on the planet. Think about that statistic for 1 second. 62 people, just 62 people, own more than half the world's population. The gap between the rich and poor is widening at an alarming rate. The wealth of the poorest half, 3.6 billion people, has fallen by $1 trillion since 2010. And at the same time, the wealth of the world's richest 62 lucky motherfuckers has increased by more than $500 billion. This obscene trajectory proves that when people make more money, it doesn't trickle down. Those in power don't just control the media, of course. They control our energy resources too. Under this system, the US continues to rely on an industry that imperils all life on Earth. According to the latest UN report, in order to avoid the worst predicted effects of climate change, 3/4 of known existing fossil fuels need to stay in the ground. That means halting all production, stopping right now. And that's to avoid the worst effects. The worst effects. But the empire is doing the opposite of that, chasing profits at any cost. Under Obama, the US has become the world's largest oil and natural gas producer. That's astounding. The US military is the biggest polluter on the planet, yet exempt from all environmental legislation, from the Clean Air Act to the Kyoto Treaty. With all interrogation about how the richest country in the world could possibly pay for healthcare and education for its citizens, little is asked about how we could possibly afford to maintain endless war, occupation, as well as a military budget that stands bigger than the next 7 countries combined. If this system put the needs of the people and the environment first, there would be very little dependency on such a damaging fuel source. Stanford engineers, as you've seen in the documentary this morning, have already developed a cost-effective state-by-state plan to transition the entire US to renewable energy sources by 2050. The money spent on the Iraq War alone, which killed 1 million people, 5% of Iraq's entire population, and planted the seeds for ISIS to flourish, could have covered all global investments to halt climate change trends. Think about that. The Iraq War could have halted all global climate change trends, just the cost of that. There's plenty of money to solve humanity's pressing problems. The issue isn't resources, it's how they're being used. We've seen how far the empire will grow to crush any and all alternatives. Those in power also wield the most massive military in human history to wage a very real war on ideas that provide an alternative to their system, both abroad and here at home. Over the last century, the US government has done everything in its power to snuff out alternatives to its rule. From roundups to mass arrests of thousands of anarchists, socialists, leftists in the US, making it illegal to even be a communist, to carrying out military interventions in over 70 nations just since World War II, causing untold human misery, all in the name of fighting ideas. Today, the US empire has at least 900 military installations around the world. The Pentagon doesn't even know, because of how many lily pad bases they have, what the number really is. They have troops stationed in almost every region of the world to maintain endless war and occupation. Those in power have an endgame. It's purely dystopic. And right now, there's a huge opportunity for change. Real change. Real alternatives. And the voices in this room have so much potential to be heard right now. It's time to seize the momentum, start building the utopia we wish to see. Because in the words of Jacques Fresco, if you think we can't change the world, this means you're one of the ones that won't. Thank you.